So it's going to make all the lakes and the rivers and streams bitter, because of the fallout. And a lot of people are going to die from the contamination. And as the contamination goes from west to east, that fallout is just going to go right across the rest of Europe and the Mediterranean and into it'll probably bypass the Himalayas, but it'll go down through India and Southeast Asia and so on. Okay. Okay. So then we come to the fourth angel. I mean, you just kind of have to imagine what's going to happen when that happens. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, and so on. And okay, so what does this have to do? The fourth angel and the darkening of the sun and the moon and the stars and all that. Well, now you're talking about a nuclear winter that's going to start. Okay, the darkness, the ash and all the stuff that's in the air. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. Okay, so then we come to the fifth angel. Okay, now the fifth angel sounds, and and then here's another star falling from heaven to the earth, and him was given the key to the bottomless pit, and opened the bottomless pit. Okay, and then it talks about locusts. So what's going to happen here, and I'm not going to try to interpret this line for line, but basically what it's talking about is that a war is going to be unleashed, okay, upon the earth. And up out of the ground, these locusts are going to come. Well, those are your missiles and your helicopters and, the swarms of flying war machines, okay? And anyway, and so there's going to be a war that's going to be an air war. Okay. And there's going to be nuclear fallout. Yeah, there's going to be nuclear weapons used. There definitely will be nuclear weapons used. Okay, and there will be aircraft, and but mostly we're talking about things that are, in this case, that are going to be happening over in Europe, not so much over here in the United States or in America. America's not going to be so much involved in this war. This is going to be a war that's going to happen in Europe. Okay, first there's the air war, and then that woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more after. And so then the sixth angel sounds, and you hear the voice of four horns on the golden altar which is before God. Okay, so then we come to a ground war. Okay, and if you read this, the horses that he saw in the vision was talking about tanks and mobile, tanks and other armored vehicles that are used in a ground war. And I mean, just read it. And the power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails are like serpents and had heads, and with them no hurt. So, you're talking about the cannon on the front of your tanks, and then the machine guns on the back, and so on like that. Okay, and so here is this war that's it went from an air war, it's become a ground war now, but they still don't repent, neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornications, nor of their thefts. Okay, and so then in chapter 10, we're talking about John receiving a mission. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God shall be finished, and he hath declared to his servants the prophets. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto the earth, and said, Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went to the angel and said, Give me the little book. And he said, Take it and eat it. Well, anyway, that's a mission that John was called to do. And so John's mission has been, for the last 2,000 years to preach to, the earth, and which he's been doing a pretty good job of. And this will continue. Okay. So here they are. So then we'll go over to chapter 11, and I'm sorry that I'm kind of zipping through this because I'm just interested in interpreting it, not trying to pick it apart one verse at a time. And so anyway, so you have this ground war that is basically the people of the great and abominable church of the whore of all the earth is going to pitch battle against the people of God. Okay, and we're talking about a European and Middle East war that's going to eventually come into Jerusalem. Okay, and so then when the war turns against Jerusalem, turns against the Jews, because that's who the war is going to be against. Okay, there will be two prophets that will be raised up to prophesy, and they're going to prophesy 203 days. 1,203 days. So roughly 3 years, three and a half years. Okay, and they'll be clothed in sackcloth. And so these two prophets will prophesy to the world and prophesy for the Jews and, pretty much save the Jews from the onslaught of all of the people that are pouring into Jerusalem, the army that's coming across Europe to destroy the Jews in Jerusalem. Okay, and they have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn into blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. And so for 3 years they're going to be prophesying, they're going to do all kinds of things to stop the advance of this army. But eventually they're going to be overcome and they're going to be killed by the army, and their bodies shall lie in the streets for 3.5 days in Jerusalem. And so all this huge army that is against the Jews will rejoice and be glad, and the Jews will be afraid. And so when the 3 days are open, when the 3.5 days are done, then the seventh angel sounds his trumpet, and then appears Jesus in the heavens. And Jesus will come down from the heavens, and he will destroy the army that's against Israel. The Jews that see Jesus descending from heaven will notice that he's got prints of nails in his hands and his feet, and they'll say to him and say, "What are these prints in your hands and your feet?" And he said, "These are the wounds that I received in the house of my friends." And then they will recognize that it is Jesus Christ whom their forefathers killed in Jerusalem. Okay, and so the evil, the army that is against Israel at that time will all be destroyed, and then that's when Jesus will come, and that begins his reign for the 1,000 years. All right, so that pretty much concludes, the book with the 7 seals. Okay, and so the rest of the book is all about the events that'll happen from the time that Jesus comes until the end of the 1,000 years. All right, so where are we at? Chapter 12, we start to see history in reverse.